Look, I love love. At my core, I am a lovey-dovey girl. But oddly enough, I don't like romance movies, TV shows, or literature, American or not. Unless the writing is amazing and somebody dies, I think romance is my least favorite genre, right above those self-help scam books. Too often, it just comes off so cheesy. The protagonists are too perfect and unrelatable, or an awkward, obvious self-insert from the author. Plus, romance tropes are too predictable. My least favorite couple trope is the helpless, useless bully girl with zero personality that every man is in love with for some reason, paired with the mean but incredibly rich, jerky jerk love interest who never got enough hugs as a kid. Boring. Needs more angst. And I hate the creepy romance stories. And so many stories would benefit so much if they would just age up the characters. If you guys have any recommendations of amazing love stories, please put it in the comments, because lately I have been so unimpressed. That said, I do need romance sprinkled in the films I watch, video games I play, and lit I read. But it can't be the only thing going on, you know? Especially if the story is going to take place in a modern setting. So boring. I did like Duna though. Good ending. I prefer romance stories where the couple does not end up together. I like well-written heartbreak romance. I think my favorite anime, Attack on Titan, is the perfect example. To me, at the center of Attack on Titan is love. Our main characters face hell for 4 seasons and a few specials for the ones they love. Romance stories that end in heartbreak are some of the best stories ever told. And I love the ending of Attack on Titan. I don't care what you guys say. Masterpiece anime. Now, if I hear you guys making a lot of noise about some romance film or book, I'll totally check it out. But I learned my lesson a long time ago after reading Twilight and watching Fruits Basket. So now I pre-screen all my romance recommendations. I basically intentionally spoil myself. I'll research the plot, and if it's not enough to convince me to watch the film, I'll instead watch a bunch of reviews on YouTube and then decide if it's worth watching. Starring Anne Hathaway, The Idea of You is a 2-hour rom-com streaming on Prime Video. It was adapted from a popular book written by Robin Lee, which was also being celebrated on BookTok. It's a story about a romance between a 20-something boy band member, inspired from Harry Styles, and a 40-something single mother. I won't spoil you, although I did spoil myself, and it seems like a good movie. This is something I'll probably end up watching later, one day. It's not as typical as it sounds, and you guys love Princess Mia, so there you go. If you've seen the movie, let me know your opinion in the comments. I'll watch it eventually, but like I said, it's not my cup of tea. Lately, I've been pouring soju anyways. However, TikTok, right on time, per usual, no pun intended, brought something to my attention regarding The Idea of You. Something that made me take interest in this movie for a different reason.
Did y'all see this? Apparently this author Robin Lee had to switch her characters from black people to white people in order to sell her book. And now it's being made into a movie, or it's already a movie. And I think Anne Hathaway is the female lead. What?
The author of The Idea of You, Robin Lee, has been an actress for over 30 years. I know her from Deliver Us from Eva. And interesting enough, her co-star in that film, Gabrielle Union, also produced The Idea of You alongside Robin. The Root wrote an article based on an interview with Robin. In the interview, Robin is quoted saying, "I spent 6 years writing a book prior to writing this book. Right before The Idea of You, I wrote a book that I could not sell. It was a black protagonist. There was a white love interest. And one of the responses I got from an editor at the time was, 'Oh well, no, we already have an interracial relationship that we're putting out this year,'" she told Refinery29. When I thought about this book, I was like, okay, I'm going to sell this book. Nothing is going to keep me back. If I have to make 2 white characters, I'm going to make them 2 white characters. But I'm going to make them very personal and specific to me.
Like, is it so hard to relate to people that look like us? Like, is it so hard to pick up a book and be like, black people who are acting and thinking similar to myself, who have an interesting plot, let me read this. Face. I'm like, wow. Y'all don't like us? I can't even lie to you. No matter how much I laugh and kiki about it, this is crazy times still.
Growing up, Due to a lack of positive black girl representation, I was practically forced to relate to non-black characters in every piece of media that I was introduced to. And because I enjoyed a variety of media, I had opportunities to relate to a kaleidoscope of characters. And outside of the intentional neglect and exclusion of my image, I really didn't mind, as long as the story was great and the character was interesting. Outside of race, there were so many other commonalities, like being a girl, dealing with adversity, or my favorite, being an Aries. Well-written sci-fi will have you relate into non-human characters. So is the problem that you can't relate to us? Or is it more that you can't handle us in the spotlight? This movie was written by a black woman and produced by 2 distinguished black actresses, yet the idea of a black woman being the main character of her own story, in Robin Lee's words, it would have been a whole thing. When I hear of situations like this, not only is it a nightmare to an aspiring author, but it reminds me of why I call bullshit on that disingenuous excuse people make to exclude black actresses from notable roles. Black girls should make their own stories. And when they do that, this is the consequence. Storytellers all over the globe have remixed the same stories and characters for hundreds of years, and no one cares until a black actress is chosen for the role. There is an immediate pushback. And of course, we see this demonstrated every few months when a deserving black actress books a role as the leading protagonist. The newest addition to the club is Miss Francesca, who will star as Juliet alongside Tom Holland in Romeo and Juliet. There was a collective outpour of shit, screaming, and throwing up at the casting of a black woman for this role. I was disgusted by how everyone immediately started to attack the actress's looks, declaring she wasn't pretty enough. First of all, A, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and B through Z, you're a damn lie. Francesca is beautiful. I have sat there in silence and watched plenty of weird-faced actresses on my screen for years, and the same people have quietly let them get away with it. Nor have I felt a need to publicly announce my distaste for their features. Like, who the cares? These people just hate black features on black women and feel comfortable, if not empowered, to publicly disparage black women, mostly due to there being no social repercussions for doing so, such as canceling or mass withdrawal of support. People have launched platforms from bullying black women. For me personally, it's really discouraging to hear that Robin was practically forced to change the race of her characters from black to sell her book. And she was basically validated in that choice because the next book she wrote centering non-black characters, well, you can watch it on Amazon Prime. I feel like the only time black women are accepted as the protagonists is when they are the epitome of struggle. Our representation and image has been intentionally tied to negativity for so long that, combined with society's misogynoir, it explains why there's so much backlash to us literally doing what everyone else does, centering ourselves. Black women should be able to center herself the same way literally every woman in every other racial group does. But when we do, they are rejected from publishing companies and told that their art will not sell because people don't want to relate or see a black girl protagonist. It is disheartening, but totally an eye-opener to how the industry operates and treats black women. The idea that our stories are oversaturated is ridiculous, especially when you can look around and see that that's not true anywhere. I really don't want this to have a negative impact on the perseverance of black girl writers. Your stories are so important, especially to the black girl readers and watchers who seek representation and inclusion. There are plenty of black girls and normal people who aren't committed to ignorance, who would enjoy the media if given the chance. A lot of us with brains just want a good story at the end of the day. I just wonder how many stories we were denied due to racist situations like this, or how many opportunities for black actresses were denied. This is why positive diversity and respectful inclusion in the media is so important for black girls, although I criticize it when it's done poorly on this channel. This is why I'm all about black girl representation. If you haven't checked out my Black Girl Representation series, I invite you to the link in the description. We are slowly becoming a more intelligent group of humans, although as we can see, we have plenty of room to grow. I do see somewhat of a change happening. The kids seem way more vocal about how progressive they are. So maybe, but I understand that hatred is a different kind of beast. I really do feel like the majority of the force behind the backlash and rejection of black female characters is pure hate. And I really don't know how to combat that other than to point it out and overanalyze it when I see it. I think the correct answer is you combat hatred with love. Or I'm sure that's what any romance story would tell you. By the way, I really appreciate those of you who have supported my recent video essays. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. These aren't easy topics to express, and it touches my heart how the majority of you guys are so overwhelmingly encouraging and nice. I have so many upcoming videos. I'm currently working on 2 at the same time. One of them I am so excited to show you guys, but I'm taking my time because I really want you guys to like them. And yes, the Harlots video will be up eventually. I had to snatch it down due to copyright. Ugh. I'm fighting for my life, okay? They're being extremely petty, but don't worry. It's tourist season and I plan to channel some of their stubbornness until I get what I want. But thank you to everyone who watched that video. The comments were so nice. I hate having to hide it. Please do me a favor and let me know in the comments some examples of positive Black girl characters in the media. You guys always put me on to stuff I haven't even heard of. And thanks again for watching. See you in the next video. Bye guys.